Will PrEP cause a new gay plague? Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and it was probably well over 10 years ago when I first read a conspiracy theory about the AIDS epidemic of the 1980s and 1990s, coming as a result of a supposed hepatitis B vaccine in New York City in the late 1970s. The basic gist of the conspiracy theory is that scientists deliberately bred the HIV virus with laboratory monkeys until eventually they had created a virus that could kill monkeys and potentially be transmitted to humans, which is what they did according to the conspiracy theory, by releasing the virus at clinics by way of something that they marketed as a hepatitis B vaccine, but was really the clinic injecting them with a shot of HIV right in the main line. Now, I'm not entirely sure which politicians exactly were said to have done this, but I think the theory claimed that the motive was to test out whether or not this killed humans effectively, so that it could be used as biological weaponry to control third world populations, like apparently what ended up basically happening in Africa or something. Truthfully, while it was a conspiracy theory, and therefore being that it was a conspiracy theory and all conspiracy theories are inherently wrong, I didn't entirely want to believe it because it would have been harder for me to sleep at night, of course. But also, of course, I already had a hard time sleeping at night back when I read this, so being that I was already awake, I couldn't entirely shake the feeling that maybe it was true. Thus, you can obviously imagine my non-shock when I saw that clinics were going to do a trial run of a new HIV vaccine-like pill, which would supposedly prevent the transmission of HIV, making it so that guys could essentially have as much unprotected sex as they wanted without worrying about anything, at least anything related to HIV, at least supposedly.
I'm on PrEP. I've been using it since November 2012. I started with the San Francisco PrEP demo project, and after that ended, or I graduated, I transitioned to get it through my healthcare provider. And right now I'm not actually paying any money for it because I applied for the Gilead copay assistance plan, and now it's all free. It's pretty exciting. $0.
You can tell by the look on that relatively attractive, beady-eyed young man's face that he's obviously rather excited about how much reckless sex he's about to have, and it might also sound like he's a bit excited by how few condoms he's gonna have to buy. Granted, I suppose the hashtag Truvada whore t-shirt might have been a dead giveaway. Maybe you don't have to look at the expression on his face, but whatever. That being said, one of the biggest early proponents of PrEP becoming widely circulated among gay men was a politician you have likely heard of by now named Scott Wiener, or Weiner or something, who was very quick to go on and on about how great of a drug this drug was and how he takes it himself. And of course, being that he's a Democrat, he also wanted as many other guys to be given it for free as much as possible. This is kind of funny to me in the sad sort of way, because while he was quite eager to say right after the drug became available to the public in 2014 that it was 99% effective, he also ended up coming out soon after to aggressively help decriminalize knowingly transmitting HIV from one person to another down from a felony to a misdemeanor charge. Now, granted, nobody knows why exactly he would be so interested in doing such a thing personally, and surely I wouldn't want to make up any conspiracy theories about him trying to maybe help infect gay men with HIV so that they become more dependent on the government to provide treatment for them, so that gay men will forever be loyal to the Democratic Party. Because, obviously, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I legitimately doubt he's even smart enough to come up with such a plan, at least not himself, as he's honestly kind of an idiot that seemingly spends more time partying and sending messages to guys on Grindr, including a friend or two of mine that they showed to me, than he does actually doing much of anything worthwhile. Regardless, coinciding with his big and ultimately successful push to change HIV transmission laws in California down to a misdemeanor charge, it didn't take all that long for it to come out that more and more guys were coming down with HIV infections while being on PrEP. I believe the number of cases is at 4 now after just 4 years. I'm honestly not sure if they're even still counting how many new infections of guys who get HIV while they're on PrEP are coming out. Maybe they just decided to stop counting because obviously it's not all that effective. Granted, it always did say 99% effective, at least according to Weiner when he wrote for the Huffington Post, but it's funny that I can currently go over to the CDC and it actually says over 90% effective, implying that the effectiveness is significantly lower than 99%, and it's possibly even dropping as viruses do this thing called mutate, which might actually be happening, possibly explaining the cases of HIV occurring while people are on PrEP. So, might the virus evolve to become super AIDS resistant to PrEP? I don't know. More so, outside of the fear of a new AIDS epidemic, or even just a sizable population of gay men that are essentially slaves to free healthcare after they contracted HIV while barebacking on PrEP, which, by the way, gay guys do constantly, even if gay media people like Scott Weiner lie in the Huffington Post and say that it's supposed to be used on top of condoms, as guys go so far as to advertise that they like to bareback while on PrEP right on their hookup profiles. On top of all of that, we still have other STDs and STIs to worry about. We have all sorts of staph infections, some of which can kill you. Syphilis has become dramatically more common than it was a few years ago, which technically eventually kills you and could potentially mutate into something more dangerous. We also have hepatitis C, which can kill you. And who knows what else might end up becoming a lethal sexually transmitted disease if meth addicts have a go at trying to incubate something. Seriously, literally every gay urban mecca is facing a gigantic meth crisis, which not just makes guys enjoy sex quite a lot, which they have for hours and hours on end while on Viagra, but also lowers immune systems and makes it easier for infections to occur in new patients. Thus, each and every gay city is a veritable breeding ground for this potentially massive gay plague. And is anybody even mentioning the possibility that this might happen? LGBTQIA++, aka feminist charities, are fine with helping gay men after they already got HIV, but otherwise, they seem perfectly happy to entirely ignore the meth crisis, and instead, they tell gay men to check their male privilege and stop putting their dirty mitts on women at gay bars, as if that even regularly happens. Now, I know perfectly well that I will be accused of being some sort of homophobic alarmist traitor for making this video if the gay church ladies see it. Because gay church ladies have this odd tendency to do like feminists and glorify sexual deviance, polyamory, and reckless adult-themed behavior, and then only gay church lady out when somebody even poses the thought that these behaviors might have consequences. So, to them I say this. Look, I used to be about the grittiest, public sex enjoying, drug-using, irresponsible young gay guy that you could possibly imagine in my late 20s and early 30s. Sure, I wasn't ever doing the unprotected meth sex thing, and I almost never bottomed, mainly because I was bad at it and never had a nice ass anyway, but just about everything else was something I tried. Sometimes I did certain things not entirely uncommonly. Therefore, I can't shame two guys for being young and wanting to have some fun on this miserable earth occasionally, because that is precisely what I did, albeit pretty much always using condoms while pretty much never bottoming. Still, I have every right and reason to step up and maybe be the first guy to say, wait guys, we know how this movie ends. The movie was called And the Band Played On, and it originally aired on HBO in the 1990s. Because all I want is the safety and well-being of the community and demographic that I ultimately can never leave entirely, which is gay men, as I am a gay man. Thus, if Dan Savage or some other establishment homo wants to call me out for saying all of this, go right ahead. In fact, we can debate if you want, Dan. I'd absolutely love to talk to you about this issue, why I think it's being ignored, and a few other things. I might even show my real face and deliver my name, if you're not scared of me. But of course I won't be holding my breath, because I'm still patiently awaiting for that hit piece from basically any gay publication or any publication run by a gay guy like, the Seattle Stranger. That hit piece that honestly I was sort of hoping would happen by now. Where is it, Dan?